Hello and welcome to my today's video in which I'm going to tell you oddly specific things that I like about each Enhypen member. And I will begin with Jungwon. And in Jungwon there are a few different things that I really like and admire, and one of them is the fact that Jungwon has a very strong character, and the way I see it, like metaphorically, the way I see it, it's as if there is this axis, very solid, but very flexible at the same time. It's as if his character is, very solid, but very, not even just flexible, it's very adaptive to the situation, at the same time unchangeable in very important things. And I think that this is exactly the quality that allows him to be on peak right now. I feel like right now, maybe not on peak, but in the best shape that I have ever seen him, and probably in the best shape that he has ever been. And I mean, like, generally, as a person and as a performer and as a leader of his team. And it also influences the whole team, I think, as well. So it's this unbreakability, but also flexibility that makes him a very special person for me, and I love it so much about him. But another thing that I really like about him is his quality as a leader. He has this, I've been noticing it many times, when there is some, whether they're making some content, or when they are at some interview, or when they are at some live, it's as if Jungwon has this semi-intuitive, semi-intellectual sense of what is happening around him. And he kind of, it looks like he feels what is happening, and where something becomes tense, like someone is left aside, or something is becoming, not right, not the way it should be, and he immediately fixes it. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it really, and if you have noticed it, you have noticed it. But Jungwon has this ability to kind of sense what is going wrong, and immediately, reach out there with his authority of a leader, and immediately, correct it, like a tiny knot appears somewhere in the energy of the group. He immediately untangles it, and I noticed it, and I loved it so much. It's so particular, it's so specific, and it's so almost mystical that I love it about Jungwon very much. The second person that I'm going to speak about is Nikki. And Nikki, he has... I know that people have been noticing that, Nikki has been in his nonchalant era. And I kind of really understand where it comes from. I feel like Nikki is an extremely sensitive person. I have been noticing how, all this nonchalance goes away the moment that he gets a cat in his hands or just sees a cat somewhere or something like this. Nikki is extremely sensitive, and I can easily imagine what has happened inside of him when he became an idol as young as he did, because I kind of had a similar experience, not under this much pressure. Well, it was a lot of pressure, actually, for me. I finished school when I was 16, and I had to leave the village that I lived in to go and study in the capital city, in the university in my country. And I remember that I had no idea what to do with myself. And at that time, I didn't know that I'm sensitive. I thought that I'm just like other people. And nobody ever explained to me, like, what to do with all of this, what to do with everything that I feel. And the natural thing that happens to a person when they feel too much is they collapse into the inside. They kind of numb this sensitivity so that they were able to function, so they were able to to live, to do something, and so on. And I think this is what happened to Nikki. And for me, it was happening right around the same time, like from probably like 16, 17 to like about around 20. And I love his sensitivity so much. The oddly specific thing that I like about Nikki is his sensitivity, particularly because all this situation around him, I know that it is very unpleasant. And from the inside, it feels like hell, honestly. Like, I'm not gonna, you know, mute the words that I will be using. It feels really bad from the inside. But first, he is recovering. And second, now, like 10 years later, I can say that there is so much of everything beautiful in sensitivity. And sensitivity gives the ability to experience this world in all of its colors and shapes and tastes and fragrances and colors and everything that is. And it's a very good thing, actually, if you know how to handle it. And also, in Nikki, there is this almost mystical magic. I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about, but Nikki has this intuitive knowing. He's very intuitive when he allows himself to be so. And he has, like, deep inside of him, he has this calm of intuitive knowing. I don't know if it makes any sense to you, but I'm trying, okay? And I know that the path towards the mastery of this magic inside of him also lies through acceptance of his sensitivity and mastery of his sensitivity, first of all. And I really believe that Nikki will be able to do it. I really believe that Nikki will be able to handle it and to take everything from it. And I love everything about it. I love the fact that he has it inside of him. I love the fact that he is still to master it. I love the fact that it's still to unfold for him, all the possibilities and all the beauty and all the magic of his own sensitivity, of this superpower that lies inside of him. And even this vulnerability and incompleteness, I like a lot. And I really believe in Nikki. I know that Nikki-san is going to handle it all. The next person that I'm going to speak about will be Sunoo. And Sunoo, honestly, is one of my favorite people in K-pop generally. And like, each of them are probably one of my favorite people in K-pop. But Sunoo, he has... Sunoo is very special, right? We all know that Sunoo is kind of different from other idols, from other male idols particularly. He has this softness in his character and in his body and in the way he acts and in everything, and this cuteness and sweetness and softness. And the industry is not very, like, it kind of likes such people, but it kind of deals with such people in very brutal ways sometimes. And Sunoo went through a lot of shit because of it as well. And I know that there are idols, especially from earlier generations, who were, for example, similar to Sunoo, and they decided to kind of mimic other idols, to not be like that, to pretend that they are different from what they actually are, to just be more comprehensible and to probably just protect themselves, which is very normal and very human as well. But Sunoo didn't do it. Sunoo marched through Ireland and is now marching through the industry as what he is, as what he has always been, as a person of this kind, someone vulnerable but also very strong in this vulnerability, someone very soft but also someone who can stand up for themselves. And I see a lot of strength of character in it, a strength of character and the loyalty to his true nature, to what he really is. And I respect it so much. Like, I don't know, probably out of Enhypen, I respect Sunoo the most for not folding and not crumbling under all of the pressure that he had just because of who he is. And I love it about Sunoo so much. The next person that I will speak about is Jake. Jake is actually a guy written by a 20-year-old me. When I was 20, around 20, before 20 also. I was very into football. And recently I found out, I came across a video where Jake said that he used to play football, and he was a central attacking midfielder. And the central attacking midfielder is a position which is very specific, actually, and that was my favorite position when I was into football. Because central attacking midfielders, they have this quality of, well, first of all, they are always very intelligent, very quick-witted, like they think very fast. Second, they have this ability to initiate, they are very creative in a very practical way. And also Jake kind of reminds me of my favorite footballer of that time, that was Tomasz Rosicki. He was a central attacking midfielder, obviously, and he was very, very carefree in the way he moved through the pitch, in the way he lived as well, actually, I feel like. And this carefreeness, together with this softness, it was something very, very dear to my heart. And Jake has it too. But also, I was very into, like in my early 20s, I was very, very into physics. I loved everything connected with like physics and like scientific method and the rationality and all of these things. So if I was to, write a perfect character, a perfect guy at the age of when I was 20, I would describe Jake. And the way he looks, and also the fact that he has this cute accent, and his admiration for physics and science and all of that, and also the position that he played when he used to play football, but also the character, his character as well. That would be Jake. I would describe Jake. I can't. It's so weird to think about it, like now 10 years later, but yeah, Jake gives me this sense of nostalgia, weirdly. And I love it so much. It's very sweet and warm, and he is too. An oddly specific thing that I like about Jay is the way he sees people. Because Jay has this very strong sensitivity towards people, towards humans. I remember the video, and you definitely know about it, the video from a fan call when the fan told him that she gave birth, and she showed him her child, and maybe a month old or something like this, and Jay asked how she's recovering from labor. And I remember, for me, that was crazy. It touched me so deeply, and I started to think about why, and I realized that I don't think I know a single man of his age, or any man actually, whose first thought when a woman says that she recently gave birth would be about how she is recovering. Because it seems like for men, this idea of, damage of the birth and recovery from birth does not exist at all, especially for the men who are not fathers, who have never been around a woman who gave birth recently. So for me, it was so, specific about Jay that he even thought about it. It's something that you can't fake. You either think about it or you don't. And the fact that he thought about it was so unusual for me, and I loved it so much. But then I started to notice more and more about how Jay generally sees people and looks at people. I remember there was some content that they were making with BuzzFeed, I think, and they needed to describe each other. And Jay described Jungwon and Heesung. And about Jay, he said that, about Jungwon, he said that Jungwon looks cute, but he has this character of a warrior inside of him. And that's exactly how I see Jungwon as well. And about Heesung, he said that Heesung has this free spirit. Like, he is very open-minded, and he is very free in the way he thinks and feels and acts. And it was so particular. It was as if he is noticing the deepest, most profound nature of a particular person. And I love it about Jay so much. Jay is very attentive and very sensitive to people. And I believe that people are probably like the most important thing that we all have in life. So it's very beautiful quality. It makes Jay so beautiful to me. But actually, Jay was the first person that got me into Enhypen. Because of Jay, I started to, try to figure out who they are. So yeah, this is what I love about Jay the most. An oddly specific thing about Sunghoon that I like the most is going to be oddly specific. And it's not the way he acts, and it's not the way he moves or anything like that, and it's not the way he speaks, but it's the way I feel about him. Because I remember when I just started to find out who Enhypen are, it was at the end of spring, at the beginning of summer this year, and it was very hot in here where I am, and I remember that Sunghoon, for me, whenever I like kind of thought about him, or whenever I, tapped into him, into his character, I always felt this, coolness and smoothness and calmness of his energy, of his character. Even now, when I'm speaking about him, when I'm making this video, when I recall the image of his energy, of his energetic imprint, I start to breathe slower, and I feel like I'm calming down. I feel like I'm starting to speak slower, and I feel at ease, more at ease than I felt before. And it's almost a life hack. I actually sometimes use it when I need to calm down quickly, because I have my issues with heat in the mind and heat in the emotions. Whenever I need to calm down quickly, I use the image of Sunghoon sometimes, because it's his very deep quality which makes him so special and so beautiful to me. And I don't know if maybe it's something that he picked up from his career as a ice skater, or maybe it's something that the reason why he initially became an ice skater, because it's natural for him, because he has this feature, because it kind of resembles, this flow and this smoothness and this coldness. It kind of resembles this ice skating qualities, ice skating properties. And this feature is very important for me personally, and that's probably why I like Sunghoon so much. He's one of my favorite people in Enhypen. I say it about everybody, right? One of my favorite people in Enhypen. Each of them is one of my favorite people in Enhypen. The last person that I'm going to speak about is Heesung, and I left him for the last not only because he's the oldest, but also because it will be the most difficult to explain. Heesung, he has a very similar quality. Like, when I found out about Heesung, I started to understand Jungwon better. Because they have something in common. They have this depth that you can't, you kind of look at them and you can't see the bottom. It's like a void, like an endless something that you look into when you look into the energy, when you look into the nature of this person. I feel the same way about Jungkook and about Heesung. It's like some void that is pulling you in. But the oddly specific thing about Heesung that I want to mention here is his, I call it a royal quality for some reason. This is how I imagine royalty. There is another idol that I think has this quality, and it's IU. It's similar, it's not the same. But Heesung, he has this natural, not even leadership, natural authority, which I feel like comes from his deep integrity. I don't, does it make sense? Like, the way people act around him, the way members act around him, he doesn't need to, he doesn't need to do anything to make them respect him. They just respect him, and not just because he is the oldest. We know how people can act around the oldest, even in Korea. But it's as if there is some energetic, some internal, some psychological, some psychic reason that they feel from him, why they respect him, why they, whenever something, I remember, what was it? It was eat, sleep, something like that. This type of content. And I remember Jungwon was cooking something or something like this, and something is not working, you know? Heesung doesn't say a word. He just comes, he fixes everything. Like, whenever something goes wrong, Heesung appears out of nowhere and just fixes everything. And that's how I imagine this natural leader to be. This natural, you know, royal type of authority to be. It's just, you know, I come and I resolve the issue. If everything is working, I'm not there. I'm doing my business. Whenever I see that something is not working, I come in, I fix it, and then I come back. Because I don't need anybody to, you know, to tell me how cool I am. I don't need anybody to, you know, beg me to do something. I don't need anybody to need me or to want me to be there. I will come when I'm needed, and I will leave to do my thing that I'm not needed. And that's it. And I hope I managed to explain it. Because this thing is actually one of my favorite features that I have ever seen in any type of idol. Heesung has this natural, very calm, very reliable, very real and true type of authority. And it's actually so attractive. But I didn't say that. You didn't hear me say that. I didn't say that. I don't know why I wanted to make this video. I just really, like, they are so characteristic, each of them, each of Enhypen members. They have so much to learn from, for me personally. And I wanted to, you know, kind of highlight these things in them, because I don't know why. I don't have to explain why. This is my video. Thank you for watching. See you next time.